Welcome to Place Goer. Here's the place, and I'm the goer. Now this place is right in the middle. Well, it's somewhere in the middle of Don Robinson State Park, just a few miles outside St. Louis, off to the southwest. Right now, it's currently raining. It's a little drizzling right now, a little drizzle action. Now I've just been kind of going off the trails. Shh, don't tell anyone. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making my way to Herman's Hilltop, which is this direction. So I'm going to be trying to do a straight line mission inspired by Geo Wizard himself, and see if I can actually get there without consulting my my phone's GPS. So this tree right here, this was the marker. So then going past, there's that tree here with like the knot. There's like that branch line down on the ground here. So let me go to that, and then, I mean, since I'm going towards a hilltop, I get the added bonus of it being a prominent natural landmark. Okay. Okay, so I got this tree here, and then I'm just going to follow it down to this tree right here with the rock on the side. This mossy limestone shelf right here, very prominent in Missouri, in this neck of the woods. And then just continuing to repeat this process. It's actually, well, I believe this is due east of me, or due west. I believe it's, no, I think it's due west. Yeah, it's due west of here, because I was passing by the north and south Les Barques hills when I was coming into this park. And then I passed Chinkapin Hill, and then went a little off-road, and then I entered the Les Barques Conservation Area. And now I'm just kind of doing some off-roading. And I don't really have like a specific landmark for waypointing. I'm just kind of going like in the general direction, since I'll know when I hit the creek or the riverbed. It's not like a riverbed, but when I enter the valley, then I'll know, okay, I'm going to be going up at an incline, and then the hill, well, the peak of the hill is what I'll be climbing towards, so then it'll be more obvious when I actually get there. So then now I'm like in this little gully right now, so there's like a little man-made trail right here, and it is a little muddy, not too bad right here, but yeah, then you start getting down to like places like this, where there's a serious drop-off. So I will not be going down there, although there are some rocks down there, so that could help with like platforming. So I'm gonna go around it actually. But this is a beautiful area in the Ozarks, in the northern Ozarks region, in the eastern temperate forests. If you're paying attention to your ecological subregions, which you know me, you know I am, because you have your eastern temperate forests. Oof. Going from the Ozark Highlands east past the Mississippi into the more eastern forests, right? So you have like the Allegheny forests. You have the Cuyahoga National Forest up in Ohio. I believe that's all in the eastern forest. I mean, that's like the broadest classification. But then as you zoom in more and more, then you have more specific subregions that more accurately define the geology and the landscape, the topology, all that kind of all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm just making my way downtown. I'm walking fast. No faces are passing right now. And I don't expect there to be any faces since it's raining and all that. Okay, well here, okay, this is a bit of a predicament. But I don't really want to get down from there. I'm going to go up there actually. Yeah, I want to do that. This is very steep actually. Oh shit. Now you may be wondering, why am I doing this? Well, that is a good question. I am not entirely sure myself. There's some water trickling down past this rock. It might be a natural spring up here, I'm not sure. But I did have to cross the Deer Creek, which is, I believe, is a tributary of the Big River, which is in of itself an offshoot of the Merrimack River. Just to get your watersheds in mind. A lot of oak trees out here, a lot of hickory, staple of these neck of woods. Oh man, yeah, a lot of fallen tree trunks, very prone to breaking when you step on them. A lot of give. Also, a lot of them have like charred marks on them. A lot of controlled burning in these forests. Okay, so this is looking a bit better. Still a bit steep, a bit steeper than I would like, but don't have these limestone walls I don't have to contend with. Okay, actually, okay, I'm gonna go back further out. This is still way too steep. Since it is raining and the surface is slick, and I only have one good hand for traction, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. So there's a little river here, so that's good. Oh, there's like a little canyon. Oh, there's like a little cliffside there too. That's cool. Hopefully I can actually get down in there without too much bodily harm. Jesus. Alright, let's check this out. And wouldn't you know it, there are still more hills. Still these like cliffs and precipices. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, this is not a good idea. This tree does not seem strong enough for what I am doing to it. Pretty cool little area right there. Ah, that's muddy to all hell. Oh, wow. Now I am tracking my progress, so I'm not going in completely blind. But still, so I am tracking it on Komoot and Gaia GPS, which is a paid map service. But it's cool because then you can add in other map services. You can add in other map layers as like a base map. So you can add like historical maps from like 1900 and 1930, or like parcel data, like who owns which lands. So that's pretty cool. $60 a year, so not terribly egregious. Oh man, look at that. All right, cool. I made it. And this is all off the trail too, so I wouldn't have known about this otherwise. Look at that. It even goes down there a bit of a ways. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Huh. I'm sure the early American Indians came down here and sought shelter from all the harsh weather like this. Probably the Osage. The Osage River, not terribly far from here. That's further out west. You have the Osage and you have the Gasconade River. Osage River being named for the Osage people, of course. And then the Gasconade, probably like a French settler. There's a lot of French and German influence in Missouri. You also have, Missouri also has like its own version of the Rhineland in southeastern Germany. We have that here. We have like the Deutschheim historic site. Yeah, Herman's a big German town. Whoa, I almost fucking tripped in there. Yeah, that's like right along I-72. Go to Oktoberfest down on Herman. Well, Herman, no, that's along Route 50. So Route 50, okay. So if you're traveling along Missouri and you want to check out some cool German areas, right? Or like check out the German Rhineland in Missouri. So that's along Highway 94 going through Defiance, southwest of St. Charles. But if you want to go to Herman, that's along Route 50. And then the Amtrak River Runner, that hits up that stop too. So it hits up St. Louis, Kirkwood, Washington, Herman, goes through Tipton, goes through California, goes through Sedalia, with a stop in Sedalia, goes through Independence, Pleasant Hill, no stops in Pleasant Hill, and then downtown Kansas City. So there you go. And of course, because Amtrak isn't the top priority train service, it has to hold for other freight lines to go through, like BNSF, yeah. Which I used to know what that stood for. Bismarck Northern Santa Fe? I don't know. Something like that. So, alright, let's fucking follow this creek. Or crick, as they say. A crick takes on more of a rural connotation. Is it crick or is it creek? I say creek. Now, if you're also traveling a lot in southern Missouri, if you're like traveling in the Ozarks especially, if you're looking at a map, you might see something called like Bald Knob or Knob Lick. Knob is actually the Ozark term for a hill. And there's actually a vigilante group in the late 1800s, I believe, called the Bald Knobbers, who operated for like a few years. Much like the Confederacy, they did not last long. But Bald Knobbers, it's actually a ride at Fire in a Hole at Silver Dollar City and Springfield, Missouri. No, in Branson. Branson's about like an hour drive south of Springfield. There's a ride there called Fire in the Hole with the infamous Bald Knobbers, who were a real group of people. They had like socks on their heads. They're like KKK adjacent. And they get their name from the Bald Knob, or the Bald Hill. And the Bald Hill gets its name because there were no trees on it. It was like, it's bald. And that makes sense given Springfield and Branson's location. What the fuck am I doing? I'm not doing this. Given its location on the Springfield Plateau, which is one of the smaller defined areas of the Ozarks, as I mentioned before. So you have like the Osage Gasconade Hills, following, of course, the Osage and Gasconade Rivers, offshoots of the Missouri River. Then you have the transitional zones from the Illinoisan Till Plains to the Iowan Loess Plains, right? Because you have a lot of corn and wheat crop lands up in northern Missouri into Iowa, and then south of I-70 near, I want to say, Concordia. Well, I mean, there's a lot of cities. Like Tipton is in there, California, Missouri. That's all in that transition zone from the northern Ozarks to that cropland. And you can see that when you're driving westbound or eastbound on I-70, if you look north, you see like, oh, the rolling hills that I often associate with Missouri is all flat and agricultural. That's why. So actually I was playing around with GeoGuessr, and I was like, okay, I was playing on Missouri only, and I had the beautiful DeLorme, Missouri Atlas. And it's like, well, it is forested, so that makes me think southern Missouri, but it's not as densely forested as, say, like hematite, right? Which is in, okay, well, hematite, Missouri gets its name from the hematite mineral, which ancient Native Americans used to derive the red dye for like ceremonial and ritual purposes. And that's where they got the name. But then hematite it's pretty far south. It's actually, I think hematite, that might be in the transitional zone to the Illinois Till Plains. And depending on who you ask, Missouri might be in the dissected Till Plains or the river hills. It's like if they're not hills, then they're plains. And if they're plains, then they're dissected. So it just kind of like cuts up the landscape. And you have a whole bunch of other tributaries. And look at this little thing. Wow, that's cool. That is impressive. What was I saying? Yeah, so I thought it was somewhere in one of those transitional zones up to Iowa or Illinois on my GeoGuessr round. So it's like, okay, there's trees here, but they're not as densely packed. Like, I could easily see this opening up to a larger farmland or whatnot. What's good, like Leadington? That's pretty far south. I don't know. Or like Iron County, like the oldest rocks in Missouri, dating back to the Precambrian. That's all in Iron County. And why does it get that name, Iron County? From all the iron that was produced there. It's like, well, what do they produce in Leadington? What do they produce in Leadington town, Missouri? It's like, well, lead. It's like, all right, we got a lot of lead here. We need to make a town, Leadington. Yeah, that's a good name for it. And it was, but we found out lead isn't the most beneficial thing to be producing, and then we quickly realized it has some unwarranted side effects. So, yeah, the world's largest lead mine was down in southeastern Missouri, not in the Boot Hill, not that far southeast, but go down 55, probably an hour and a half drive down. You can still tour it today. It's pretty neat. Now, long-time viewers of my channel may know that I went to Birmingham, Alabama, way back when, and there they have the historic Sloss furnaces, where they were producing a lot of pig iron, which is a I believe to my knowledge, an ingredient used as like an intermediary product used in producing raw iron ingots. And that's what gave Birmingham the nickname Pittsburgh of the South. Because Pittsburgh, as we all know, produces a lot of steel and then iron, and it's like, oh, we're making a lot of steel. We should get a football team and call ourselves the Steelers to commemorate this city's booming steel manufacturing economy. And that's all I can say about that because I don't know much about sports. So, I know dirt and where that dirt is, to put it simply. What was I talking about? I don't know. It's just more like a train of consciousness kind of thing. Anyways, I think this is Herman's Hilltop up here. So when I get up here, you can see some other hills off in the view shed on the horizon. The north and south Lebarque Hills, Lebarque. Why is that spelled that way? The French. Why is the name St. Louis? Because of St. Louis, France. It was French. There's a lot of... It's like, why does the St. Louis flag look like that? Well, those two blue bands are the Missouri and Mississippi River. And that little symbol in the middle, that's a fleur-de-lis, which is commonly associated with French culture. And it's like, oh, there's probably a meeting point of the Missouri and Mississippi River with a lot of French influence. By golly, it must be St. Louis. Or basically any town in the Midwest. It's like, okay, well, this is a city with French immigrants at the meetup point of two rivers. It's like, buddy, you just named like 80% of all Midwestern towns. Now, one day I am looking to do like the Katy Trail or like the Pacific Crest Trail, or there is that Appalachian Trail. But that takes months and months of advanced, serious planning, because it's the whole dang thing. You're going all the way down to Mexico from Canada, or vice versa. It's like 2,500 miles. It's like, good God. You gotta make sure you have all the PTO time built up and requested, and you have all those days, because, man, it's gonna be, wow. No, I mean, you could do like segments of it, you know. It's like, yeah, I might like hike a few miles here and there. It's like, but if you're really like gung ho about it, you could just do the whole dang thing. But I wouldn't advise it for new hikers. Man. Whew. Alright, how am I at? Alright, here's my Fitbit. Not sponsored. What I got? 6,416 steps. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Oh. I might have inadvertently stumbled upon the actual hiking trail. Well, how about that?